Okay, fairly, I guess, kind of intense, but also very familiar final stage to finish on here. I don't remember if I got a diamond or a gold on this stage last time I did it. I really don't remember. We'll see what we can do. Now that's going to make a difference in reality, since you don't have diamond on everything in this chapter anyways. So it kind of doesn't make a difference whether I get a gold or diamond here at all. Should probably jump a little bit more on some of these parts, but... Ow. I don't know if it's worth restarting immediately or not. I mean... It is good, I suppose, to remember what's going on in each part here. Oh boy, I got a little bit more air than I bargained for. Ow. It is good to remember what's going on in each of these parts, because you do need to dodge stuff. At the same time, I'm not certain how big of a deal it really is. And I will fully intend to complete the stage in one shot anyways, without losing any lives or anything. I gotta get more of our speed as well. Oh, wait. Probably not the most efficient way of doing that part, unfortunately, but... Yeah, wasn't jumping through the right or something like that the most efficient way I found through this part? I don't remember. I definitely experimented quite a lot in this stage the first time I went through, if I remember correctly. Are we doing this part right or not? Hard to tell sometimes. Cool, that part you need to be dead center on, and I'm not entirely sure how I got off center. I think I just moved off. I'm not that... I got a little disoriented, to be honest. This is a fun final stage, in the sense that it is grandiose without being especially frustrating or anything. It's fun. I can respect them having gone for the huge marathon level as the final stage for the regular part of the non-bonus chapters in this game as well. If that wasn't the final stage, I would be complaining about that one, or with how long it is and whatnot, but... that part is annoying. But they can have one marathon stage at the end as the big finale, that's fine. The camera flipping around is one issue. Hey! What the heck? I occasionally have with those. It can be very disorienting, and it also just makes stuff go wrong sometimes. I absolutely have had cases in this stage, though, where, for some reason, I'm just not able to make a loop or similar. Did I just not maintain enough speed that time, or what? I was really trying to, not hit that, but yeah, this is going to be one of those cases where I got through that without even thinking one time, and now every other time I go through it's going to be an issue. Well, I'll just have to relearn how to get through there. It's something I managed to pull off the first time, so... I did manage to slowly, bit by bit, learn how to go through each part in the stage before, so... I can do that last jump there. I tend to not do it, because I'm nervous that I'm gonna fall into the gap. But it works out just fine. Cutting it really close there. The way I did that. Well, yeah, so that part, I remember what I wanted to do was stay on the right side, and you end up jumping over a gap. I should not have jumped there, like I just did. Oops, let's not even bother. Can you believe that as far as I'm concerned, I'm holding forwards when I take off like that? Am I just really bad at holding a particular direction, or is my really old controller not as accurate as it used to be? Either is fairly plausible, I think. This jump right here. That one I always feel nervous doing. Oh boy! Okay. I was going a little slower that time, I guess. Excuse me? Somebody didn't do their job. Yeah, that works just as well. Yeah, it does also bug me that sometimes the stage seems to just not work properly, and I'm not sure why. And sometimes I imagine it's that I'm going too slow on some part. Like, they only give you so much time to get through a particular segment, a particular loop. But the other times where that doesn't seem to explain it. Hold on. It just didn't trigger. What in the world? Did I jump? Is the trigger really short? Do you have to not jump there? Okay, that's unnecessarily fragile. It's like I'm playing a Sonic game where the scripting for the loops just doesn't work. It's not a hypothetical, of course. There are indeed games like that. As I said, we'll just relearn the stage. It's not a bad stage regardless, it is fun. Well, I probably shouldn't have jumped just then when I did. Okay, don't jump on that part. You can jump once you get to the curve, but before that, don't, because the game does not have the foresight to consider that you might be bunny hopping somewhere where you're supposed to be going fast. Oops, forgot to do one more hop there. Okay, now jump. We good? We are good. Thank you. Also, don't end up on the right side there. The camera getting a little disorienting plays a large role, I think, in me ending up in places I don't intend to be. I think it's just that I'm holding forwards, but then forwards changes where it is. When the camera decides that what's happening is not what ought to be happening. Right, up we go. Go flat on that segment and then jump. Ah. Okay, now that we've figured out how to get to that part, I need to remember that on that particular really big loop I need to stay on the right. At least that was what I was doing last time I was here, and it seemed to work just fine. right here. That may have bounced me up in a way it shouldn't have. We'll see if I can pull those off. Yeah, I think we're fine. Camera. Don't want to touch that. It's a bit of a long stage again, but again, for a last stage, I'm okay with it going on for a little while. I do think this one is a bit much. Okay, at the very end there. I do think this one does a bit too much of the same thing again, but what's kind of okay to me about it is that it's a fun thing that's mostly a spectacle instead of being really obnoxious and making you do precise movements, so. And you can absolutely memorize it in a way that makes it not that hard to pull off. The amount of speed I have in that segment is fairly variable. Right side. Yeah, then once you get this down and it's not too hard to go through, it's fairly fun. I find these parts where you're kind of constantly going through loops over and over kind of nerve-wracking, specifically because the game has messed them up on me before. Oh boy. Smack my face a little, but I think we're okay. Unfortunately, I don't have any recollection of what we actually need to do on this last segment, so... Was that a time travel I saw over there? In the center? This is also just gonna ruin the entire run, unfortunately, but... Yeah, sure. Oh yeah, they put that one there. And also moves, so you can't predict where it is. Guys, that end is kind of obnoxious. Alright. Unfortunately, it just takes us a little while, and he's shot, too, so it's gonna be hard not to go a little over the intended time for the episode here. But you will have at least one more episode of this, though, for at least one reason. Probably two, in reality. So, it's not like this is changing whether I'm going to finish the game this episode or the next. Oh, that probably ruined everything, did or not? I hate having to account for the mistakes of the developer and getting through a stage. Unfortunately, I also get to the last part so rarely, or at least there's so much time in between shots that I take at the last part of the stage that I also have a really hard time remembering what's at the last part, so it's hard to really try to strategize for it. Like, yeah, I know I tend to just run straight into a rock, but why? Is it because it's in the center? I tend to be in the center, although I wasn't very centered last time, so I don't think that was the problem. Also, I think there was a time travel I saw in the center at one point. I probably need to be on the right side here. I should pay more attention, at least, from this point onwards. Instead of just trying to passively absorb information about how to get through this stage by doing it over and over. Okay. Bunny hop a little bit here. Don't bunny hop this part. Bunny hop again. to the right. And then from here, I guess just try to stay centered, since from what I can recall, there was something to be had in the center. Yeah, there's a potentially multiple time travels here, actually. Well, just the one, I guess. Okay, but then this part. Yeah, then I get around this loop, and I don't remember what to do after this. Oh, there's another time travel there, darn. Ah! That part is rough. I wish the checkpoint was actually... You fall forever in this stage. I wish the checkpoint was actually before this loop instead of after. Oh. Where's my gravity? Jeez. Like, where do I even want to be? Like, that's not especially clear. I guess I can try to be more on the right? Coming out? Like, going through here seems good. And you just have to hope that the game doesn't decide to throw the big rock at you on the last part. It just doesn't... I mean, in reality, I guess you'll get there at a consistent time, so you'll have a chance to memorize where it is and dodge it accordingly, but it's kind of annoying how it moves that way. I would like to be done with this stage. I like it, it's fun and everything. It's a fun idea, it's a nice end to the game, but I also want to finish the darn thing. I already did the stage before. It is weird to me that there's no save transfer between... Well, I guess the physics are different and whatnot, I guess that explains it, but reusing lots of stage in this version of the game while also... I was trying to jump through, oops. Reusing the stages in this version of the game with not having any transfer of the work that you did in those stages is kind of weird. I am kind of disappointed how much of my time in this particular version of the game, especially in the later stages, where I particularly wanted to see new stuff, is actually just recycled. All sorts of weird questions these days with how video games are distributed and whatnot about what makes the canonical version of the game, or what the expectation is when making a new release or an updated game or whatever. It's like, this is a new take on the same game, and me forgetting that I need to move to the right. It's like multiple minutes between each occasion I get to these spots, so it's just hard to remember. Even though the stage isn't really difficult in its own right. It's not like I'm messing up very often in the stage or anything. I didn't mess that up, did I? No, good. Felt like I might have jumped a little early. Hey. Okay. And other weird things too, like the relabeling of the original version of this game as classic. I didn't quite mean to jump there the way I did, but I guess I'll manage. No, we won't. I find it hard to judge how far I'm going to go when I bounce there. Could have just stayed on the right, I would have been perfectly fine. Again, I get so... Each attempt takes so long. And the parts that throw me off don't come until the very end, really. Oh, okay. Unusually slow there, I think. Okay. It's kind of odd how games, in general, it used to be MMOs, well, not always, were like this, of course, but games in general now are just kind of a living, breathing thing with how they're distributed. Camera does not have a good idea of how to accommodate what's happening there. So here you... At least for part of this you want to stay in the center, I feel like. But if I go through the center, I run straight into those crystals. I hate how there's so much time between each attempt on this. It's a very finicky thing that I have to wait multiple minutes between each attempt on. Including things like how I initially started too with the very first version of Marble Blast before the challenge update. And things get changed between those. It's hard to really just talk about a game in a concrete sense when what that game is changes the way that it does. The way that we accept that they do now. What in the... Work properly, please. I remain somewhat old-fashioned, I guess, in games. I don't quite object to the idea of things getting updates and so on. There's lots of them are, in fact, quite nice updates. But I never did quite adjust to the mental model of a game just not being a thing that you discreetly buy at one point in time, and that's the game. I do remain kind of bitter about things being released in really buggy states. The way that I've seen many people also feel, but that was a big thing with Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated for me. That game was in a pretty sore state when it came out. As in, there was basic functionality of the game that did not work. Very easy to get yourself just stuck in place permanently. As well. Oh, come on! That's a few seconds I just lost. So I feel like all I want to do is almost kind of cut left here. Like, go for the time travel, but also go up a little left, but only a little. Yeah, I could do the same thing going right instead, because like I said, the right-hand side is fairly clear. This is going to take forever at this point. And well, I missed the time travel anyways, that time I guess. Who knows if we need to get all the time travels to... Finally happened to get a diamond here. Oh, did I accidentally get more air than I meant to? I don't think I did. Yeah, I'm fine. wonder if there's an optimal timing for using these speed boosts. I'm kind of vague about when I use them, to be honest. Oh, come on! It's not like I'm far off from the center or anything. Jumping here actually seems like a good idea. On the other hand, destroying your entire run doesn't. All it really takes at this point is just not that. I'm getting way too much here. Just one run. It doesn't really feel like there's anything that separates a good run from a bad run for me in terms of me getting better a lot of the time. It's just I kind of keep doing the thing until I accidentally do it well. Nice jump. But every other time, I've seen cases before, for instance, where I managed to get diamond on a particular stage. I feel good about my performance on it, and then I go back through it again, even just to try to get towards the end to get the treasure box towards the end of the stage or something like that, and I cannot actually reliably go through the stage at all. It feels like to replicate my success just a moment ago would probably take another half hour or something. You know, the camera just contorts right there. Cool, that was not what I was trying to do at all. I don't know what forced me to the left there. That was strange. And then little dumb things like that happen, and whoops, it's again been multiple minutes since I actually got to attempt the end of the stage again. I want to be done with this stage. I already did it once. And I did it well that time too, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if I got diamond or not. But either way, I was content. Barely got that. Okay, and try to keep straight. I don't know why it's such a hard thing to do lately. I was doing it fairly consistently before. There we go. This one it feels fine to jump on. Even beneficial, maybe. Didn't really make much difference there, actually, I think, but oh well. Wanted to get that time travel, but I don't know. And here's the blind jump. What are you gonna do about that? What are you gonna do? I guess I can remember I should be on the right side, roughly? Because there doesn't seem to be anything over there. That part didn't need to be there. So, I guess my strategy for the last part, though, for approaching that last segment with the diamonds, will be to try to pick up the time travel while crossing to the right. And if I don't pick it up, then I guess it is what it is. I'm pretty confident you can pick it up that way, and being on the right-hand side is just practical. It's a very sensible place to be. I should have used any of those speed boosts. Guess it won't make that much difference there. I'm still moving at pretty much the same speed as usual, as evidenced by how far I just traveled on this segment here. Ah! Too far to the right, though. But that's the idea. It's just hard to pull off. At this point, I feel like I know everything there is to do in the stage, it's just raw execution. But that just, in its own right, takes so long to ever manage. The rest is just a formality, though, at this point. It's just, you sit here holding forwards for a while, and that's kind of it. This part I do, of course, need to try to get the... There you go. Time travel. Doesn't matter if I'm particularly centered here or not. Okay, well, I do need to be a bit centered, never mind. Don't hit the stuff on the way down, please, or up. Is this one of those cases where, yeah, I get a bigger bounce? Oh, that is not going to the right at all. It's really hard to... It feels unpredictable how much you manage to move to one side or the other when you're on these loops. On the really big loops, mainly the one where I moved to the right-hand side really far to... to do that hop on the right over a gap. It generally works out okay, because I just have enough time where it seems to work out, although there are other times where it seems for no reason I get pushed to one side, as was mentioned recently. But here, like, it's highly variable how quickly I can move to one side or another, or how much I manage to, oh boy, how much I manage to pull away if I'm already moving in one direction, and so on. That's one of those things, or if I'm trying to do a fairly precise maneuver on the last loop now. I hate so much what the camera does there. I should be more consistent in this part. I don't know if I'm ever going to get a big bounce here or not. I guess it doesn't so much matter because I just bounce as I jump as I land it either way. And so here I want to start a little on the left and then move to the right, but that is really hard to do. Oops! And then I start moving right really hard at the end. It's like that. It's not consistent how I move. I guess it's the fact that I have more grip by the end, because I have gravity holding me to the platform instead of just my own momentum. But man, it's extremely difficult not to overshoot that, or undershoot. I feel very close to this at this point. It's just, I am getting to where I do all the other parts pretty consistently. There are other weird things too, like if I'm moving to the side a bit and then I just don't hold a direction, my movement to the side will slow, which I guess is just some effect of how the curvature of this thing works. is there a gem there? Is something you can skip here otherwise? Oh boy, that was unusually low. Cool. Did I manage to hop over the ramp or something? I should perhaps just, oops, I think I jumped there by accident. I should perhaps just not jump on that part. It doesn't really seem to benefit me a whole lot, I don't think, if I manage to do a big bounce over the gap instead of landing more softly either way, so it's probably fine to just do something more consistent. Again, if only it just didn't take so long to get there each time. That's my only complaint. Well, I have other complaints about the stage, like this part right here where I need to be very careful not to break the stage, because it is fragile. For no good reason as far as I can tell, but... like this part right here, I am careful to take this consistently, because here it's just not useful to get a... you don't want to get a big bounce here. Every time I still feel nervous something's gonna go wrong here. Also feels weird hard to stay straight on here. I think it's just because of the camera though. Alright, let's just be consistent here. Let's not do any silly jumping on the edge or anything. I think just do that. That is consistent. Nope. The world said no to me moving right. I moved left. Why did I move left? There are mysterious unseen forces sometimes when I go around these loops, and I don't know why. But not being able to move consistently on these loops is a problem for trying to complete a stage quickly. Particularly when I have to go through a minute or so of other stuff to get to this every single attempt. I will still find new ways to ruin this, though. I am very close to finishing the stage. If I can just pull off this one little loop, the stage is effectively done. Which is why I keep pushing on this. Because I know it's fully within my grasp. Though there are still things I just don't understand about why it's really hard not to end up getting pushed in a mysterious direction sometimes. If I could try it more and more often, I could probably figure it out a bit more consistently, but I don't have that opportunity. So what do I want to do here? Do I want to... Okay. I'll slow around that part. I hate you so much. Why are you there? They didn't need to put this random smattering of whatever to just ruin random runs as soon as you get to the end. It didn't need to be there. That's not skill. It's just hope we didn't ruin everything you did up until now. I'll try to be vaguely on the right if I can even manage that degree of control, but there's a lot going on before that part. And like I said, it's actually not at all easy to control where I'm going when I'm in a loop. Unless it's a really big one like this. Even then, it's still greatly limited what I can do. It's just I need to be vaguely on the right here, which makes it very doable. So I can do that part consistently. Pray this part doesn't break. Also trying to stay centered. Alright. I mean, I guess you can do that on purpose. No, that's not correct though, because I'm not where I need to be now. I need to be up there. Look up. I'm looking up real hard. I don't think you're going to be able to get up there using messed up gravity like that. Hooray, stage breaking. I could probably land somewhere that would have given me gravity back. I was actually kind of trying to do that, what I did just then. I was hoping that I'd land on the gravity pad of that particular loop, which just didn't work out. But it'd also just be nice if the stage worked. I guess I just managed to jump over the gravity pad. That's another thing I feel like I should have to think about. I wasn't trying to go for a skip there, also something just pushed me to the left again. Okay, let's go through this and hope it doesn't break on us. Don't jump over that. It's not what I'm trying to do. Should have jumped. Oh well. Okay, we're just going on the right side this time. Misjudged that jump. Yeah, I just don't have the control I need. I guess what kind of worked the one time I managed to pull it off was I stayed in the center, I think, and then I managed to break out towards the end. But the thing is, that's very delicate, because you can break out, you get way more cornering at the end of the loop, which makes it possible to do it as I described. But then at that point, you suddenly, well, one, you need to do a chicane pretty hard to one side without actually, flying off the right-hand side. But also on top of that, you suddenly get a lot of traction to turn to the right. And it's also really hard not to overshoot purely from that alone. Leaving aside the fact that you can easily overshoot while just barely moving enough to one side as well. Jeez. So, over here, and to the right. And again, stay on the right. Right? Right. Vaguely. The lookup text did not appear. I guess it's because I already saw it one time on this stage. I don't care what time that was. It was good enough for me. 14 ball. All the ball. So don't, just a recolor, go away. Color. Oh, they call some of these classics, I guess. And a lot of them are from the old ones, not all of them. Is there a connection between blue and the word fleck? Ooh. Oh, huh. It looks less like it's on fire this time than in the first game. You unlock this one way later than the first game, that's funny. processor, you know what I mean. What in the world is a diamond? Man, I spent forever trying to get that. Okay, so next time what we'll do is we will get not 1, but 2 remaining mystery boxes, treasure boxes, and that'll be it for the game, I think. Annoyed I didn't get a diamond after all that. I guess it's 140 maybe that I needed to get. It's not like I lost a whole second though by managing to mess up the landing at the very end. I only did 1 extra bounce, and I didn't even have to fall all the way back down after. Maybe you tried to do some gravity shenanigans like I did, accidentally? I don't know. Anyways, next time we'll finish things up.